At 6 p.m. Tickets and parking are free, so make plans to head down to L&N Stadium to get your first glimpse of the 2026 team in action. Interested in ticket options for the upcoming season? Visit gocards.com/FBinfo to learn more about available inventory today.
Defining a new era in men's health, Gameday Mens Health delivers real results. No shortcuts. From testosterone replacement, weight loss, to peptides, vitamins, and sexual performance therapy, they will have you covered. From their in-house lab that gives you answers in just 15 minutes in our clinic that is designed for men who value speed, privacy, and most importantly, results. Visit GamedayMensHealth.com. Real men, real science, real change. Visit GamedayMensHealth.com.
It's time for Mondays with Dalton Pence on the Big X Sports Radio. Now, here's your host, Dalton Pence.
Eventful start to the week here in the Ville. Thanks for tuning in to another week's edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio. We got a lot to discuss. Dalton Pence, Rome McKelly, and Matt Childress taking you up till about 7 o'clock tonight. Rome, what's up, man? I know you've been on the airwaves for a little while today.
Feeling good, ready to chat, continue on the Louisville chatter. Feels like Mike and I didn't actually get into too many different U of L topics today with all of the different reactionary Monday types of news that you're going to have when it's March Madness going on. So I'm ready to, get into what Jahide Brown could look like for us down the line, the new recruitment that we've announced, commitment, that we're going to be getting into today, I'm sure. And, of course, some other Louisville basketball news and tidbits that we're going to branch off on, I'm sure, as well. I'm ready to get into it. Excited to discuss our new endeavor from this past weekend. I guess new to an extent for you. You have done PA before, but not to that level, I don't think.
You're looking like a celebrity out there, man.
I mean,
looking up on that big screen.
There was
man.
Little kids walking up to me asking for pictures. It was very, very surprising.
Can I get your autograph after the show?
It felt like that's like kind of how some people were viewing me there.
I saw Matt on the field,
looking like Stephen A. Smith down there on the field. Official game day field presence when he's watching the football game.
Is it? Oh, it is now.
It is now. I saw Matt in the press box looking at me.
Yeah,
I was looking back at him.
He was looking really attractive. I could not steal a look from him.
I was wearing my quarter zip.
I saw. Grant was excited to see it.
I'm wearing a quarter zip right now.
We caught
Louisville Kings quarter zip, by the way. If you're watching this on YouTube,
coming out of the elevator as we were going back down to the field, and it was such a great reunion. It was fantastic. I loved it.
I was like, "What's up, Matt?" Grant's like, "Quarter zip." So, oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Dalton, how did you feel about Roman's dance cam?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't even looking at it.
Oh man, it was great.
Was that close to halftime?
It was earlier in the game, wasn't it, Roman? I think it was like the second time you were brought up.
Yeah, I think it was pretty early.
Well, I mean, at that point, you have to understand. I had a script about what felt like 50 pages long, so I'm just making sure that I'm on point. I did catch the air guitar cam,
yeah,
and all that good stuff. Roman was an excellent hype man.
Appreciate that.
Grant and I were in the press box for the first half.
Yeah.
And look, I love Lynn Family Stadium. My one quarrel with the press box up there is that you just can't hear anything outside of it. It's like
we had the crowd mic going on in the AV room, so I could so we could hear whistles and what the referees were saying. And
yeah,
I will say though, the Kings first down chant, awesome.
Yeah,
they established that pretty quick.
I was wanting to mimic the Cards first down. So I kind of.
How many times did you even have to say Cards first down before they caught on? I counted twice.
I said it 3 times.
3 times
and
only?
After that, it was that. It was awesome.
Great.
Love to see that tradition being built. But hopefully they can get the W this week against former Louisville quarterback Jack Plummer and the Orlando Storm. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Rome did mention Jahide Brown. We will discuss why his commitment is a huge deal for the Cardinals. Obviously, right before we got on air, Sananda Fruit officially entering the transfer portal. There's some rumors out there about what's going on with the Quinn Ellis saga. There are some rumors. There's this growing suspicion that the Cardinals might not return anyone to next year's basketball team. I worry about that for one specific reason, and there's a stat that Ty Spalding tweeted out that we will discuss throughout the show. So a lot coming up on today's show. 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450 to get any thoughts in about Jeff Brom and Vince Marler's recruiting, to get any thoughts in about this offseason, what we've learned from the NCAA tournament up to this point, the Quinn Ellis stuff, the roster as a whole. We'll start out with Sananda Frew. Sananda Frew ends up entering the transfer portal. I felt like not a huge shock there.
Good riddance.
You didn't
I'm
want
saying
Sananda
it.
Frew? You didn't want him back?
No. I wanted a bigger, girthier, meaner presence at that spot.
Vascular, maybe?
I said it. He was soft.
You couldn't have him as a starter next year. Like, you watch the teams that are playing, that are still playing, still left standing. You couldn't get any similarities, any connections between what you saw from Louisville's front court the past 2 seasons and the front courts that you're seeing still standing in the NCAA tournament. Proof is in the pudding. It's right there. Got to invest heavily in your front court. But Sananda, like, I would have been fine with him back. Texter says it's Sananda Frew. Does it really matter now?
That's why I've been saying Sonny all year.
Okay, Sananda Frew. We'll go with Sonny Frew. If Sonny Frew was brought back as a backup, I'd have been okay with it.
Yep, for a
But-
discount especially.
But you also, this era of college basketball, you just don't see players taking pay cuts.
They know what their
You don't
value
see
is.
it.
It gets established.
And if there's not an increase in value, they go somewhere where they can get the same value. But if Louisville wanted Sonny back, but at a discount and also to play a backup role, I think he would have been fine playing a backup role, but the money had to make sense. And it seems like it's pretty clear that the money did not make sense for Sonny Frew at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's seeming like a pretty common reoccurrence of the money isn't making sense with some people in the transfer portal right now for us and for teams across the country. I don't know. I feel like this is a player that everybody kind of expected would leave, and then when traction began to build that he was going to come back and that he wasn't really too worried about the financial aspect, it's more of a system thing. He doesn't want to have to relearn a whole new system with a new coach and a new environment. Like, you could understand that, okay, we're going to bring him back on the down low, and he's going to be a backup, and he's okay with that. And I think a lot of people were already kind of happy about that because, you know, in this era of college basketball, even if it's not your favorite player, if it's not the best player on the floor, it is good to have some roster retention. That's how you build a culture. You physically cannot 100% from the ground up build a team year in and year out and expect it to be successful. So
True.
I don't mind him leaving. He wasn't somebody that I was really heavy on wanting to bring back, but when it started to become more positive, I was okay with it. Now I'm just kind of indifferent.
Let me ask you all this because I was also...
Yes, he was the most underwhelming player this season compared to the expectation.
You think so?
I do.
I think McNeely was there as well. I think McNeely and Frew were probably tied for the most underwhelming in terms of the expectations that I had.
I feel like we knew McNeely's role was going to change. We knew he was going to become a much more heavier jump shooter.
But
I think we still
even
expected
then,
him to be better.
He
and
was
to
a
do
very
more.
streaky jump shooter. He
He
never
was.
a guy that had like Rain Smith types of games where he would hit
We expected you to have
5 to 7 threes a game.
better efficiency and an easier system for a player like you to get shots.
Let me ask
That's
you
true.
all this, and I'm thinking about the point that I just made about players taking pay cuts. How much of this also do you think, because players have agents now, right? And you know who else doesn't want to get a pay cut? The player's camp that is surrounding him. That could also be something that I just thought of. Obviously, no inside info there, but it's like, okay, well, maybe the player is okay with it, but the camp's not. Or maybe the camp is, but the player's not.
Well, that's what Rutherford alluded to about the Frew situation in particular.
Rutherford obviously knows more than I.
He mentioned that Frew came to them, said that I'm willing to come back. I'm willing to kind of accept less money. That's what I want, but my agent's not really feeling that.
Okay, well, yeah, that checks That checks out.
Yeah, I mean, at the end,
it's pro sports. At the end of the day, it's what this is.
like you said, these guys are agents. Like the role of an agent is entirely incentivized. You want to see your player that you're representing get the best deal possible because you get the best.
But
deal
it's also at some point where if Frew, like, I guess it comes down to how much he does want to come back, right? Because if he was sold on coming back, he really wanted to come back to Louisville. I mean, you can overrule your agent.
Yeah.
You're the one making the decision. But maybe he believes, yeah, well, I was okay with coming back, but I'm at least going to go to the portal to see what I can get.
And that's why I'm not totally sold that Frew may be entirely gone because of the sentiment.
I think he's gone.
Because of the sentiment that he said that he wanted to be back and he was willing to take a pay cut. I feel like this is more similar to like the Isaac Brown situation. Not exactly identical, but you know they're.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
You hit the transfer portal, you shop around, see if the money's worth it, see if you enjoy, maybe the culture somewhere else, and if not, you just fall back into line. But also that means you have to be accepted back from the transfer portal as well. So I mean, I don't think he's 100. He's probably about, if I'm guessing, he's like 85% gone.
Mike also alluded to Zoo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rome?
Yes. Mentioning how kind of the opposite situation here with Zugris. I think that was one of the players that the staff would have been definitely willing to bring back as a bottom of the rotation kind of a piece, an 8th, 9th, 10th kind of a man. They loved what he brought to the culture. A player of his weight and size who can throw that around on the court. If you can bring them back for a small role, you're going to do so, especially with the expected money that you would be paying him. Not what they expected. Frew himself has kind of alluded to wanting more. I guess him and his agent have gotten on the same page about what he thinks he should deserve. And it's a lot more than what you would expect a player like Evangelos Zugris to be getting in the transfer portal.
It gives me the feeling that Zoo and his agent don't really understand the role he's going to be playing next season.
They see him starting and changing the energy at the end of the season.
In the name of value, if you're an agent, your job is to present your client in the best light, right? I mean, of course, the agent's going to go to Louisville in this situation and say, well, look at the spark that Zoo provided when you put him in the starting lineup. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with what the agent's saying, but here's the reality. Frew and Zoo came over to play college ball for a reason. Is there a realistic chance that they go back overseas this offseason? Maybe, but I doubt it. It's either Louisville or the portal, in my opinion.
They know there's more money.
But here's the thing. Both of those guys were juniors this year. They have 1 year of eligibility remaining, unless I'm mistaken, but they are listed as juniors. So you have 1 year to fully maximize your role and your name, image, and likeness. You have 1 more year to do so.
To go get a better European spot than you had when you
exactly.
came over here.
Both guys aren't NBA players. Both guys, I mean, maybe Frew could find a spot in the G League, but if you're from Germany, would you rather be in the G League or would you rather just go play in Germany? Probably want to go closer to home, I would imagine.
These guys weren't, they weren't in the Spanish league.
But they have
the French league.
Exactly, but they have 1 more year remaining. That's what I'm saying, that it's almost kind of understandable with how the world is operating with the transfer portal and with NIL and with there not being a salary cap and there's no collective bargaining and you're seeing these outrageous asking demands. I mean, you'd be silly to believe it wouldn't affect the Cardinals. I mean, you have to imagine that there are people out there throwing a ton of money at Adrian Woolley right now. Potentially everyone that could come back. So,
there's also you got to be realistic.
Well, yeah, but there's a time and place. There's a time and place to overspend. Yeah. There's a time and place to meet asking prices. These 2 recruitments or potential recruitments are neither the time nor the place. Because I'll be honest with you, if Frew had established himself as a top of the ACC center this season, and then he's asking for more money, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's have that conversation. But the past month of the season, the guy was lost, basically. He was lost.
Didn't improve throughout the season either.
I mean, at times,
Zugris did.
Well, I mean, how many games did he pick up so many early fouls and had to sit the rest of the first half on the bench?
Another question is, did Zugris really improve, or did he just get more minutes?
Or I mean, I think a little bit of column A, column B, but the thing about it is like Zoo gave you serviceable minutes, but the bar was pretty low on the interior.
True.
It was really just like box somebody out.
What did he do against Michigan State? Hold on, I'm going to look that up.
2 rebounds, 2 points, I think.
Because if your argument is that, well, because he provided a huge spark, and I'll say the SMU game, he did. But Michigan State, he played 14 minutes, actually had 8 points in that game, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Well, he had the first 4. He had that floater.
That's right.
USF,
right.
He had
the
6
push
points,
shot,
6 rebounds. Look, I'm all for bringing Zoo back. But if you're asking for starter money, I'm out. If you're asking for a starter role, I'm out. Because I can't sit here confidently and look Matt in the eyes and say that Zoo can be a starting 5 on a championship contender. We've just got to be real.
And you're saying that intimately, too. Very intimately.
He can't. It's that simple.
But we also need to take the thought of the fact that, do either of you guys think that this team this year, looking back to the end of the year, was good enough?
To do what?
Just in whatever your expectations were, was this team good enough?
I was going to be over the moon if we made it to the Sweet 16, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Roman?
It's tough because I think we were good enough to beat Michigan State.
But I'm talking, like, from where you were at from day one.
No, wasn't good enough.
Then we also...
What was the best game of the season? What was your best game of the season? Was it NC State?
I mean, one of the best games of the season was SMU in a loss.
It was the Miami win.
The Miami win.
Okay. None of those teams made it to the second weekend.
We all need to take a second look at this roster.
You don't have
and say,
I don't know who made it to the second weekend. I don't think you beat a team that made it to the second weekend.
I know you, like, I just spieled about it's good to have roster retention no matter what, whether it's your best player or your worst player. At the same time, if players are going out there who are not going to fill a starting spot, maybe not even fill a sixth-man spot, asking for starting money, there's times where you have to gut the program and you have to start all over again because you miscalculated on some guys, you misread some guys.
But that's also, like, you don't get a pass for that.
I know
you're not saying that, but you don't get a pass for that because here we are, we're heading into year 3. And everybody just watched Ben McCollum take Iowa to the Elite 8 in his first season, might I add. So it's like, I'm willing to be patient for PK, but I'm also looking around like, look at that. And I know that only one coach is doing that, but to say that you can't even think that that's a possibility is just wrong.
Yeah.
Because year 3, and I'm going to bring up, this is the point that I was trying to make. Ty Spalding quoted this tweet, and this is the whole idea, the whole growing narrative that Louisville could very well be replacing everyone. This is a tweet from Jackson Collier. Says percentage of minutes played returning from the 2024-25 season for each Sweet 16 team. The highest amount was Purdue at 69.6. UConn was 56.2. Most of the teams are 30% and above. There are 4 teams under 30%. Tennessee, St. John's, and Duke are all between 22.5 and 24.5% of minutes returning from the season prior. Iowa was at 2.4. That was the lowest. Outlier. Complete outlier. So I understand that you might have to replace the bulk of your roster, but is this not evidence to support that flipping your entire roster is not really a huge indication of success? I'm also thinking, well, it's one NCAA tournament. But we're living in this new era that we're constantly learning new things about. I mean,
you could look at St. John's year 1, I think, as well, under Brick.
Maybe. I mean, there's always outliers. But are you telling me that you have faith that Louisville's going to be one of those outliers next season?
No.
You have to replace everyone next season.
With a coach who hasn't been in a spot to consistently win those
big games. And I'll say this. Of course, this is all hypothetical, but if Mo Kamara and London Johnson go play elsewhere next season, don't redshirt anybody again. Stop with the redshirts.
I don't think we should be redshirting anybody anyway, even if they stay.
Like, stop with the redshirts.
It's a waste of spot on the bench. It's a waste of money. We're paying those dudes to come here and not play.
I get Kobe and Ollie. That was circumstantial.
But even then, like, you look at their respective roles for this season. Was it worth it to Was it worth it to take 2 spots from the first season, which you clearly struggled with depth? And I understand you dealt with unforeseeable injuries, but was it worth burning those 2 spots on the roster for what you got this season?
I actually will fight you back on this. I do not mind Kobe Rogers and Ollie because I feel like they were both set in a place where they came into the season and found out early they were going to have to play more minutes they were originally expecting. Where you have the Michael Brown issue, so Kobe Rogers is the only other backup guard who can handle the ball, and then Ali Khalifa found out really fast through shortcomings and Zoo just not being good enough to get starting minutes, so he was having to play a bigger role, whereas both those guys were mostly supposed to just come in for different packages, different types of sets. You know, you want to be more offensive, you put Ollie in. If you want to be more defensive, you put Kobe in.
And you redshirted them in year 1 to prevent having to go full sweep in year 2.
So I will. That is the one where I'll.
And in the name of continuity, I don't hate it. But this season, if for whatever reason Mo Kamara goes to play elsewhere and London Johnson goes to play elsewhere,
that's a failure.
I'm going to be really aggravated if you redshirt somebody in 26-27.
There should be no reason. 1, there should be no, like I said, there should be no reason we're redshirting anybody and spending money on it. 2, you redshirt them to develop them under your system and learn your system, and then they leave. So you just paid this kid to come in, practice, get developed by your coaching staff, and then go be great somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's
one thing. If you got him on a 2, if you made him sign a dotted line that agreed to 2 years, which you can't even technically hold him to, as we've seen.
Well, yeah, because collective bargaining, it feels like the contracts aren't worth more than the paper they're printed on at this point. Because all you got to do is the player takes you to court, and the court basically sides with the player 98% of the time.
Yeah, because there's no rules to back it up.
I mean, the NCAA basically has no power at this point.
Like, Dalton, I could sign a contract with you right now saying that I'd cover your show for the next 3 weeks, but if I don't, there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah, it's one thing when you brought those players from a different program, paid them more money than you gave them before, and they already were your players. Risk like London and Mo, as much as I think that Mo, has the size and athleticism,
especially with the
it's too risky.
Because you've dealt with injuries the past 2 seasons. It's hard to expect that amount of injuries, but you'd be naive if you didn't at least have some insurance policies ready to go. But then again, there's the whole debacle of, Louisville rolled out this announcement that London was going to play, and then, oh, by the way, he's actually not going to, for whatever reason, which felt like
we haven't thought about it. Oh, wait, we're going to activate him next week. That was a weird moment in time.
I think the problem has been with the messaging. It's been with the messaging, in my opinion. The inconsistent messaging, I should say.
But then stop putting yourself in situations where you don't get any clarity. Go get players you know can play, and play them. And when you have injuries, guess what? You've got players on your bench who can play because they're not redshirt.
I genuinely think this season, and like
it's got to be the season that shows Pat Kelsey what he's got to fix. He's got to adapt. I mean, you and I mentioned it on my show. You've got to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, and you have no reason not to. You have it lined in black and white as the things that you need to fix. And if you don't want to go off of that, if you don't want to go be the philosophy changer, adaptive head coach, you can just listen to the fan base and tell them what they want to see. Like, after what you saw this season, Roman, what's one person, not specifically who, what type of player do you want to see out of the portal right now? After what you saw this season.
I want to see a big, brawny bruiser.
That's what 99% of the fan base is going to tell you. So if you don't want to be this adaptive head coach and you want to say, look, I want to play my system, but I'm going to throw them a bone a little bit to kind of get the pressure off my back, that would be your first grab.
But that is adapting right there.
It is. But I'm saying, like, if you don't want to go full out Arizona style, we're going to pound you in the paint.
He's not going to change his philosophy.
Go watch Illinois play basketball then, man. They've got 7-foot shooters.
Yeah. Look, table that for the second, because when we come back from break, I'm going to talk about what we've learned from the NCAA tournament to this point. But, I mean, you just – but I feel this has been mounting aggravation, frustration, whatever you want to call it, over the past however many months. I understand that the transfer portal, it's naive to think that you're going to bring back the entirety of your roster.
Or go get a perfect lineup in the
portal. But
portal.
It's very, very clear that roster continuity is a thing. right? And here we are going into a very critical season. I don't know if it's make or break for Pat Kelsey, but there is a lot of noise. You got to have a good year next year. And we're going into the transfer portal with 0 high school commitments, and 2, this growing possibility that we might not have one single returner outside of Will Hankey. That just doesn't sit right with me going into year 3. Year 1, 100% understood. Maybe even year 2. But year 3? I don't know, man. I'm going to reserve my thoughts until I see what this team looks like at the end of the year, or at the end of the offseason. But it feels like roster construction up to this point, it's been average at best.
It's been experimental.
Russ Smith just tweeted, said, nowadays in the NCAA, throwing money at players won't buy you a culture. You first need players that are willing to buy in. That means you need a staff that are willing to establish a culture.
You don't have a staff, really.
Culture is built long term. Without a culture, you are just another school with money. You win championships with a culture. Are you hearing me?
And look, here's the thing. I will say this. I've mentioned this a couple times. You can't feel some type of way if you advocated for drastic change. You can't feel some type of way when things are changed drastically, right? You can't feel some type of way when things are changed drastically if you advocated for drastic change, which I think all three of us have. We've advocated for adaptation, for altering the in-game coaching, roster construction, coaching itself. Well, the caveat is change in nature doesn't necessarily equal good things, right? You've got to go out and you've got to upgrade. Thomas Carr is gone. Brian Coleman is gone. Will any other coaches go? Potentially. Who are you replacing them with? How do you establish a culture without your staff in place? So I'm interested to see who he goes out and gets, because aren't the this weekend, doesn't the coaches, don't they meet at the Final Four? I think that's where you're going to see some coaches potentially join the program. But speaking of the Final Four, what have we learned from the teams in the Final Four? All that coming up here on Big X Sports Radio.
Honey Baked Ham in New Albany is the perfect spot for a healthy alternative to fast food. They provide a variety of freshly made sandwiches, as well as salads and delicious soups, and you can dine in or take it to go. They also have many dinner options such as ham, turkey, frozen sides, and desserts, which provide a complete meal. Catering is also available for small groups or large gatherings. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 812-941-9426, or visit them, 3602 North Gate Court, Suite 23 in New Albany.
When the cards hit the court, they bring strength, skill, and precision. So does United Mechanical. From HVAC to electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration, they've got the expertise that Kentuckiana commercial and industrial businesses rely on. Get on board with the home team this season. Get on board with United Mechanical. Call them today at 502-339-1133. That's 502-339-1133. Let's go Cardinals.
Louisville football fans, the 2026 schedule is here. Head coach Jeff Brom and company are set to host 6 home games in the fall, including ACC matchups against SMU and Florida State. Visit gocards.com/FBinfo to learn more about a season ticket plan that best suits your needs.
T.A. Jenkins and T.A. Jenkins Company, LLC, proud sponsor of high school basketball on the Big X. Call Terry Jenkins at 812-989-7381 for your residential and commercial construction needs. Design, build, or remodel, it's T.A. Jenkins Company, LLC, located in New Albany. Email Terry at tajenkins@tajenkinsco.com. That's Ginkins, T.A. Jenkins Company.
Are you looking for a relaxing round of golf? Make sure to check out Wooded View Golf Course. Just minutes from downtown Louisville, this 18-hole course is nestled amidst the serene landscapes of Clarksville, Indiana. With a full driving range, pro shop, and bar and grill, Wooded View will have everything you need to have a great day out on the course. Make sure to visit their website at woodedviewgc.com, or you can call the pro shop at 812-283-9274 to book your tee times for Wooded View Golf Course.
Louisville's longest-running pro sports team is back. Come check out Louisville Bats Baseball at Louisville Slugger.
This is Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk. The Big X, AM 1450 and 96.1 FM, WXVW Jeffersonville.
Top of the hour here on the Big X Sports Radio waves. We got you covered up until 7 o'clock tonight. Dalton Pence, Roman Kelly, and Matt Childress manning the microphones here on this March 30th edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence. Just got done talking about the whole situation with Sananda Frew, Evangelos Zugris, the rest of the roster. Let me ask you all this as we kick off the top of the hour. Assuming that, well, we can even consider Zoo and Frew. How many players are going to be back?
One.
Over or under 1.5?
It's gonna be close to a push. It'll be one. We're gonna be right under that.
I'm gonna go over, right over. I think we bring two back.
I think we're going to bring two back. I'm going to say if you made me, I guess, choose who I think will be back, I think one of them would be Kamara. The other one, I don't know. I thought it would be Zoo, but if he's asking for an outrageous amount, like Rutherford is saying, then I don't know. What do you all think? 502-414-1450, the Gameday Men's Health text line, to get any thoughts in on who you think will be leaving and who you think will be going from this team. There's also this rumor out there that multiple people have kind of alluded to, that it seemed like things were trending the right way, I'll say, with Quinn Ellis, and then all of a sudden the asking price gets bumped up a little bit, according to some people. I think, look, I'm a huge fan of his game. I think his game will translate to the college game. I think that playing in the EuroLeague, which is by far the second best league in the world behind the NBA, I think that there's a lot to like about his skill set, but I also don't think Louisville's in a position where you can be shelling out let's throw a number out there, 40% of your budget on one player. Unless that player is just going to completely raise your ceiling and you can fill the rest of the roster out. I just don't think I'm fine bringing in a couple of difference makers, but you've got to be smart with how you spend your money.
Yeah, with the amount of money that it's rumored that his camp wants, I couldn't name you.
That's a pass from me.
Unless like AJ DeBonsa or Cameron Boozer were coming back for a second year, I can't name you one player in college basketball that deserves that much money.
Now, understand that the market this offseason seems to be a little bit more inflated, or maybe some of the early rumblings are suggesting that.
Yeah.
So you do have to factor in inflation. But even then, the market might inflate, but your budget ain't inflating that much.
But it's also like,
which is tough.
And like I said, the numbers are just rumor. We don't have the exact numbers that he wants. But what his rumor number is way, way over. You could go out in the portal and get a really good guard for less than that.
You could arguably get 3 starters for that amount of money.
Like it's more than what's rumored about what's being offered to Woolley right now, which is just
by a long amount.
And who do we think is more valuable, fellas?
I think, honestly, would you take Woolley or Ellis?
Ellis. I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about Zugris still.
Oh.
Hey, man.
I had a brain fart there. Ellis is even worse.
Did he just put his headphones on? This man's talking about
Zoograss.
Ellis is even worse.
That's why when you said Woolley, I was like, that's by a wide
I was
margin.
like, that's by a long amount. That's about a long margin right there. What are you talking about? We're talking about almost double for Ellis.
Yeah, Mike said that, potential rumorings of like Duke or Kentucky offering $5 million for Ellis.
Here's the thing.
No way.
I don't think it's true.
Way.
I don't think it's true. But even let's pretend that it is, okay? Let's say one of those schools does do that. Well, here's the thing. Kentucky and Duke both spend more on their roster than Louisville does. Can they afford to give Ellis $5 million and also spend a boatload of money elsewhere? I think it would be tough, but it could be manageable. Louisville, no way. I don't think Louisville can spend $5 million on one specific player and expect to be able to put together a championship contending roster unless these diamonds in the rough shine. $5 million, no way.
For a 22-year-old averaging 8 points?
And look, I am a huge fan of Quinn Ellis. I think that he would translate to the college game pretty well because 8-4-4 in the EuroLeague, which isn't a league that really prioritizes individual stats, and it's the second best league in the world. I'm not giving him $5 million.
No, at some point,
half of that. Would you give Quinn Ellis half of that? Would you give him $2.5 million?
No,
I give him 2. I'd be right. I'd be around that number. It depends on what our budget would be. Like if our budget is higher than we think it is, then yeah, I could probably reach 2.5. But if we're going off what it was,
let's say your
this
budget
year,
for hypotheticals. Let's say your budget's between 12 and 13 million. Would you give him $2.5 million?
No. Go get the Bird kid from SDSU. Bring Woolley back, and we'll get one more guard.
I think I
all
would.
for that price.
I think regardless of who you spend the money on, I think that the way you should spend the money is spend the majority of your war chest on 6 to 8 players, and then take some swings on some
couple low-level freshmen and
guys that aren't going to cost as much to fill out the rest of your roster. Because at the end of the day, your rotation shouldn't be more than 8 to 9 players anyway.
But players 9, 10, and 11 should be able to play. Not
of course, yeah.
Not redshirt guys.
You can go out and get some cheaper additions to your roster that could still come in and play. You can't rely on them to be starters. You should spend, I think, 85%, 90% on players 1 through 8 in your rotation.
It's going to come down to the fact that this is going to continue to happen until, not just Louisville, not just Kentucky, not just Duke, but every school in college basketball finally just grows a backbone and says, dude, we're not paying you that much money. And like we're just not doing it. Like you are not tested in this era of college basketball. You're having to travel all across the world to come over here and play. We have no idea what's going to happen. I get
you're
that
not going to see that until there's a salary cap.
You're not, and that's what's the
so collective bargaining's got to happen before the market somewhat will correct itself in nature, but I think to the point that we're hoping it will, no way.
What's Missouri's head coach's name?
Is it still Dennis Gates?
I believe maybe. I don't know for a fact.
I'll look it up.
But the point is, their head coach a couple weeks ago came out and made the statement that college basketball is going to end up being like Major League Baseball, where it's just going to be the top 5 or 6 schools that just have $30-something million to spend every single year are just going to take shots on these guys and overspend on players. If they miss, they miss.
It's a little bit different there with deferred money, but I compare it to the NFL because someone had mentioned, well, we just saw the NFL recorrect the guard market. Like last year, for my NFL fans that are listening, Aaron Banks, who's a serviceable starter, made $19 million. Like the guard market was inflated. This year, guard market was super reasonable because I think collectively the NFL looks at it and saying, Aaron Banks making that money, we got to go ahead and set a precedent now and not allow this to be a trend. But here's the thing. Those organizations have salary caps. So you have to navigate that. Even though you can do some cap gymnastics, you still have a salary cap. College sports don't. And until you do, you're not going to see that widespread, nationwide market correction that we're hoping to see. It's just not going to happen. It might happen in certain situations. I think you're seeing it now. Some guys think that they're worth this amount of money because
That's why Donovan Dent's not in the tournament.
like insert player here got this amount, so I should be getting this amount. You've seen it already. Players haven't gotten the amount that they thought that they should. Like James Scott, for example. I mean, wasn't the rumor there that he got lured to the portal with more money, and then the school that lured him into the portal wasn't offering that money? I see what you're saying, Matt, but at some point, collective bargaining is the only real resolution because the NCAA never got out in front of this when they had the chance.
No, I mean, I agree with you. Because
Go ahead, Matt.
I was saying, like I said, like those schools that have enough money to go ahead and take swings on guys like Quinn Ellis and pay them. Let's say that $5 million is accurate. Let's say that Duke and Kentucky really are offering him that. There are schools in the country that just have so much more money in college basketball that they're willing to take a shot on a guy like that because they know next season they'll just get it again and again and again and again because their boosters will continue to give it to him. So, like you're right, Dalton, until you get a salary cap-esque type of system, that's going to happen, and that's why I brought up that, Missouri's head coach basically is right in saying that college basketball will end up becoming Major League Baseball, where there will be the cream of the crop, those 4 or 5 schools that are contending every single year, and then it just falls off after that. Like, yeah, you'll get a year here and there where a Louisville or a Michigan State or somebody else will, one of those who used to be really good will get there, will get to the mountaintop again, but it's not going to be consistent.
No.
There won't be any disparity. It'll be like just like Major League Baseball. Like the Cardinals will get there every once in a while. The Cubs will get there again. It won't be consistent.
They've got so much money to inflate things that the top teams can say, we'll pay these guys this. Those guys become worth that. And now those small schools are never going to have a chance. I mean, you look at like schools like Kentucky, Michigan, schools that were after Donovan Dent. Yeah, we'll give you $2 million. UCLA will give me $3.2 million. We don't think you're worth that. Doesn't matter. Now that guard of that kind of caliber who averaged this
all
at
it
this
takes
level
is one school to overpay
is worth $2.5 million now.
And then if he underperforms that season, guess what he's going to ask for next season? $3.2 million because he was.
That's assuming that a player making that much money is going to come back, or they'll just go to the portal because.
That's what I'm saying. That's his price line from then on.
Let me ask you all this. I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose the road we go down. I'm going to give you 2 options, and maybe it's not even a decision for you all. You can implement a salary cap or one-time transfer rule, and every time after that, you have to sit out a year.
Give me the transfer rule.
You like the transfer rule?
I love it.
I like the salary cap.
You can go get paid as much
Okay,
as
so
you want. You better pick that first
It is a
school
good
around.
hypothetical then, because I thought maybe Matt would have just immediately gone with the salary cap. Because I'm like, on one side, if you put in a salary cap, you level the playing field to an extent because it depends on what the salary cap is. Like if you say it's $15 million,
then it doesn't change it.
Well, how many schools are spending $15 million anyway? Louisville was, I feel like, top 15 this past year. They weren't at $15 million. Will they ever get to $15 million? I don't know. Or the one-time transfer rule, you can say, cool, no salary cap. You've already entered the portal once and you came here. You want to go somewhere else, you got to sit out. So it's basically kind of like,
and if that school doesn't want to pay you $2.5 million again, guess what? You're taking less or you're sitting out.
Exactly.
I like it.
Let me add a third to this tree right here.
Both?
Both is one.
It's probably going to be C, none of the above.
We just go full European soccer transfer market where
like trading contracts?
Yes,
almost?
trading contracts. So you got to pay that. You got to pay the player's salary if you want him to come here, but you also got to pay that university a flat fee to buy that player out of his current contract with that school.
And it's a 4-year contract. As soon as you pick your school, that's you signing the dotted line for a 4-year contract.
That would be hilarious to watch that try to happen.
A scholarship is a 4-year contract to this school now.
You can transfer as many times as you want. It does not matter. But if Frew wants to leave Louisville and go to Cal State Berkeley,
got to buy a scholarship.
You got it. That's $1 million. That's a transfer fee right there. You got to give us $1 million, and you got to pay Frew's salary.
all fun and games until Neymar's on the transfer market. Dude,
I think it would help the mid-majors.
I mean, yeah, because mid-majors could just say, give me $40 million. Oh, you want my starting guard averaging 14 a game? Cool, $40 million.
$40 million. I think.
Oh, you're not going to pay it? Cool.
That would work if you also had the sit-out rule anyway, I think. Maybe no, because
it had to be a sit-out, but it would never happen because at that point, like, players have no leverage.
Yeah, and you can't
situation.
tell a college athlete that he can't do something that I can do, or that
well, because I mean, they're just going to go to the court system and get a temporary restraining order and then transfer.
Yeah, because a regular student should be able to go to four colleges in 4 years and get
I think the
degree.
transfer portal rule would be the one that I'd go with because I think that it would almost recorrect. Like
Which
that
rule?
would recorrect the
You got to
market.
sit out if you want to
Yeah. Oh, you think you're worth $2.5 million? Well, we're giving you 2.2. You signed a contract. If you don't like it, go ahead and transfer to Duke and sit out next year.
And you still got to get your credits in your classes.
Yeah, and I mean, is Duke gonna pay you
To sit when you can leave a year after you sat? No.
Is Duke gonna pay you that much, knowing that in a year after you sat, you could theoretically go elsewhere?
I love this idea. I think it could work. I just think that you now
It would never happen. They had a chance. There was like 1 year where it was real.
Now sprained ankles are getting chalked up to torn ACLs.
The only thing is
Free red shirts are being given.
I mean, look at like Trinidad Chambliss, that whole situation. What's the claim? Tonsillectomy? Is that what the claim was?
I have no idea.
He's going to be playing against Louisville this fall.
Isn't this the last year of the COVID years, basically?
It was supposed to be last year.
Yeah.
Last year was supposed to be the last
But
year.
I think that it's done. Well, you're right. I think it's done now. I think
There's
that
just no
almost every
precedent.
player is out.
Except Chambliss.
Yeah, Chambliss got the 6th season, but I don't know, man.
Somebody get that guy a job. Kroger needs help.
He's not good enough
Somebody
for
needs
the
to
next
go.
level.
He
and
needs to go
knows
back some coaching.
Honestly, here's the thing. I thought Chambliss, this was the year for him to test the NFL waters.
was.
Because the
you
quarterback
have a-
class is not great.
If you're
Like this was the year that he could go in and someone could take a chance on him.
now you're too old. If you don't go and win the Heisman, you're not going first round.
He's going to be what, 24? This is his 6th season.
25, I think.
24, 25?
He's gonna be competing against Lincoln Keenholz for Heisman finalists.
He's like
Keenholz is a dog, man.
He is a dog.
he was in the same high school recruiting class as like Caleb Williams. Trinidad Chambliss was.
Didn't Indiana have a wide receiver that caught passes from Trevor Lawrence?
Well, the tight end from Miami was in what, his like 9th season?
10th season.
My gosh.
Yes.
Let's head to break for the moment. When we come back, I want to talk about what we've learned from this NCAA tournament because there's some things that I think Pat Kelsey and company can take away from this tournament and apply to the program next season to potentially help turn this team into a contender. We'll explain. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned into Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio. Hi, this is Dalton Pence with Big X Sports Radio with a message to you from Collier Law Firm. Have you been injured in an accident or on the job? The Collier Law Firm's got your back. The Collier Law Firm is more than just a typical injury law firm. It's a team of former insurance defense attorneys and paralegals with unbeaten experience. And with attorney fees starting at just 25%, Collier Law Firm puts more money back in your pocket because they have your back, not your wallet. Don't settle for less. Trust Louisville's own Tony Collier and the Tony Collier Law Firm to get you the best results. Visit us today at CollierLawFirm.com. That's COLYER lawfirm.com. Hi, this is Dalton Pence with Big X Sports Radio. Are you looking to make your backyard dreams come true? All-America Pool has been installing state-of-the-art in-ground pools for over 50 years. A family business in Louisville, they offer everything from retail, parts, service, to above-ground and in-ground construction. Give them a call at 502-448-0300 or visit them at 4646 Dixie Highway in the South End. That's All-America Pool.
Calling all young golfers. The PGA Junior League at Old Capitol Golf Club is the perfect way to learn the game, make new friends, and compete in a fun, team-based environment. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, our PGA Junior League is coached by PGA professionals, helping kids build confidence on and off the course. Join the team and experience golf like never before. Sign up today at Old Capitol Golf Club and let's tee it up. Visit oldcapitalgolf.com to register now.
Options. When it comes to insurance, that's exactly what you deserve. I'm Chad Hennessy with InsureMax, and I've been proudly serving the Louisville area for over 25 years. As an independent agent, we work with Auto Owners Insurance to find coverage that fits you, not the other way around. InsureMax delivers strength, service, and peace of mind through partners like Auto Owners Insurance. More choices, more options. Call me, Chad Hennessy, at 502-479-4085.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Roosters is the place to watch your favorite teams play. From college to the pros, Roosters has all the games. Plus, you're going to love the food at Roosters. Come watch the games and enjoy 79-cent boneless wings every Monday. Roosters with 6 Kentuckiana locations: Dixie Highway, Preston Highway, Fern Creek, Shelbyville Road, Springhurst, and in Clarksville.
At the IHSAA, we're proud to have partners who share our vision of building a strong Indiana. I'm Commissioner Paul Neidig.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez, Chief Impact Officer of Old National Bank, founded and headquartered in Evansville, Indiana. We couldn't be prouder of our Hoosier heritage.
And Hoosiers couldn't love high school sports more.
That's why it's important to us as a Hoosier bank to invest in high school sports. We offer financial literacy programs that help student athletes make educated financial decisions once their playing days are over.
The association is committed to keeping high school sports focused on education first. The life lessons we teach help student athletes develop both in the game and in life.
And that's a win for every Hoosier.
Thanks to partners like Old National Bank, the future of Indiana looks strong.
Support education-based athletics by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is investing in our future.
This is building up Indiana.
This is your IHSAA.
Two segments down, 2 segments to go. We are taking March home and starting April. Oh my gosh, Wednesday is April 1st. We are just about, 8 days away from the portal opening up. Portal opens up on April 7th, which is the day after the national championship. Who's winning it all, by the way?
UConn.
You think UConn's winning it all?
I think that you come off of a 19-point comeback like that and then went off a game winner. That's just a lot of momentum to build off of.
I think whoever wins the Arizona-Michigan game. Although it could also be like 2015 to where Kentucky and Wisconsin beat each other up, and then Duke just coasted to victory against Michigan State, and then Duke was just rested. But I don't know that UConn's going to beat up on Illinois.
Yeah.
If they beat Illinois, I like them to win it all.
You think so?
I just don't trust Tommy Lloyd. Until he does it, I'm not going to believe in him.
Do you think there should have been a technical on Dan Hurley?
Yes. Should have been 2 free throws, and we should be discussing how that was an all-time.
I mean, he headbutted him.
Literally headbutted him. The official is walking over to the monitor.
I understand. I hate Duke as much as the next guy, but come on, bro. The guy literally got up in his face, like put his forehead on the referee's forehead and got in his face.
Yeah,
that's a technical foul 10 times out of 10.
The official was walking over. There was 0.4 seconds left in the game at this point. He was walking over to the monitor, I imagine, just to check the time, make sure it's accurate. And he gets in his way, puts his forehead in him, like to aura farm on him.
They're like, oh, he didn't mean anything malicious. Bro, he was looking at him the whole time and walked up and basically
got into his way.
I can't. What do you mean?
I was telling Roman earlier that if I was the official right there, I would have ended that game. I would have sent somebody to the free throw line.
That is, and they're like, oh, well, you can't let the game be decided like that. No. Dan Hurley would have let the game be decided like that. He shouldn't be stepping out of line
and ruining the game for his team.
I've seen technical fouls be called for less.
Yeah.
Way less. I've seen technical fouls get called for not being in the coach's box enough. Come on, man. That's a technical foul. But, I mean, yeah, I think UConn does beat Illinois. But I think that they lose to either Arizona or Michigan. Truthfully.
Understandable.
Let me ask you all this. I made a point on my podcast that aired today to suggest that I think that there are some takeaways from watching the tournament unfold and seeing who's left. And one of the responses that I got was, well, there's just too much parity in college basketball with the tournament, so you really can't use one NCAA tournament to have conclusive takeaways about how the roster should be built in terms of Louisville. I had two responses. The first one was that, well, arguably the two best teams are still alive. There's a reason for that. Your other two teams are UConn, who was the top 10 team for a good portion of the season, and Illinois, who is also a top 15 team. So that's the first thing. And secondly, I think you can draw some conclusions from last year's Final Four that are similar to this year's as well. So do you think that you can take a considerable amount of away from like who is still standing and apply it to the way that you build your roster? Like, oh, look, all four of these teams that are left standing invested heavily in the front court. Maybe that's where I need to spend most of my money next year. Or is it like,
I think that you have to. I think that you have to find the common denominators against teams that consistently have success, and you have to find the common denominators against year in and year out against the teams that are making it to these spots.
Last year was the same way. Duke, heavily invested in the front court. Houston, same way. Auburn, Florida. I mean, what more do you need to see? The best teams in the country have dominant front courts. The teams that make it far in the NCAA tournament are able to overcome slow shooting nights. Why? Because they've got the athleticism and size and strength to take it to the basket and dominate in the paint. That's why I have my concerns is that Louisville's offense these past 2 years has been, especially this year, take a lot of threes, and when you don't make them, shoot more. That's been the offense. That's not a recipe for sustained success. I just don't think so. Maybe they don't have guys that can consistently take it to the basket. But this is why we're having this whole conversation in the first place.
Yeah, I think that the first season with James Scott in the front court, is obviously Pat Kelsey's first season putting the team together. And James Scott, I felt like, met expectations. He wasn't the best, but we weren't expecting him to be.
He played his role, but he's not a starter on a contender.
Exactly. This year, it seemed like Pat Kelsey tried to beef up the front court, but also do it on a discount with Sananda Faroux, going overseas and really testing the waters of bringing a guy who hadn't played in this kind of environment, especially in, you're in an era of college basketball where, like you said, the bigs are just bigger, stronger, more physical, and more angry. And Faroux just doesn't play that type of game. So in his third season, it's almost like, okay, Pat, you've tried it two different ways now. One of those ways you got a free pass because it was your first season. It's time to go with what the trend is in college basketball of winning and invest. And if you invest and you still miss, then you're out of excuses.
You adopt your style around that trend.
You don't need 5 NBA-level athletes. You need a good, solid backcourt in terms of, somebody that can take care of the ball, back up behind him that can also take care of the ball. Maybe the offensive efficiency isn't there, but somebody who can take care of the ball and run your fluid offense, and you need a 5 that is going to be arguably the most dominant player on the floor. That's what you need. You can build the other 3 players in your starting 5 around that sentiment, whether you want it to be shooting, whether you want it to be getting to the lane, whether you want to be getting to the free throw line, whatever you want your style to be, you can build the other 3 players around that for more of a discount. But those are the 2 places in college basketball you have to invest in.
Yeah, you got to invest in your front court. And I also think that the wing, like being on the perimeter, that's also in the front court. It's like, yeah, you need solid centers, but you also need athletic wings that can take the ball to the basket. Like if you had the opportunity to pay 2 positions, like you pay 2 positions top money. For me, it's point guard. And honestly, I'm getting to the point where it's like go get me a dominant 5 or a dominant 4. Don't pay top money to your guards and just completely disregard your front court. I'm not saying and I don't think that we have, but we haven't invested as much as we should have in the front court.
No.
Even if Cason Pryor played his role like the player that you thought you were getting from South Florida, still, your front court's not good enough to contend. Go get me a great 1 and go get me a great 4 or 5.
I don't think you can. I don't want to see an overcorrection, though. I don't want to see you do what Kentucky tried to do this year. You still have to have that balance.
Well, you can't. Well, they overpaid a lot of role players. That was their issue.
Yeah.
Their issue was with scouting. It was. I mean,
they tried to go get a couple of bigger guys and some players that didn't necessarily fit this pattern.
I don't think it was an overcorrection. I don't think Kentucky overcorrected because year 1 was a success for them.
I think they missed on a lot of guys.
They missed on a lot of guys because they equated paying a ton of money automatically meant that this team was going to be good, when in reality, they just overpaid almost everyone on their roster.
And they were Mark Pope type of players.
Well, I mean, they got out role players, right? Jalen Lowe was a good player on a bad team.
I love saying I told you so about Jalen Lowe.
JQ was coming off of a knee injury.
A kid coming off of a knee injury.
Well, I mean, he also had surgery in, April? That's tough.
Kids reading manga in the locker room after tournament loss.
Here's the thing. You also went out and you overpaid for Mo Diabate, who was the 7th leading scorer for Alabama. Denzel Aberdeen, who was a guy coming off the bench for Florida. Otega Owe was great.
He worked out, though. Denzel Aberdeen eventually
I thought Aberdeen did, but it's...
But your sentiment is still true.
It's the collective idea, right? I mean, Cam Williams.
With the money they got, they should have gotten 2 or 3 Otega Owe's and Denzel Aberdeens.
I mean, imagine if you would have got a second bona fide star to surround next to Owe, because Owe's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, your 3-headed beast for Kentucky ended up being Denzel Aberdeen, Otega Owe, and Colin Chandler.
You're not winning many games. Or, you might win some games, but you're not winning.
And a lot of that is on the back of Colin Chandler hitting a
game
game winner in the last, 6 seconds of a game, 7 times.
Well, also, I mean, it took a fluke for them to make it out of the first round this year.
Yeah.
Started the clock late. Let's see this. Texter says, Josh Schertz should be the Louisville coach in 2027. PK is a good mid-major coach, but starting from scratch again is a really bad sign for the future. You give Schertz the same amount of NIL money, he could be special. Do I disagree?
We're assuming he could be.
I think Schertz would be really good here at Louisville. But I also agree it doesn't sit right with me that we could very well replace the whole team. Bringing back a couple players is great, but if you replace the whole team.
This is the way I look at it. Last season, you bring back Javon Hadley, Cason Pryor, Kenai Roos. You can add Kobe Rogers and Ali Khalifa on there, but they're red shirts. That was expected. And you were excited about that because of how the season ended.
But your one high school recruit was Mikel.
Yes. But the point I'm making is the players that that are already here you're retaining. You come off of a really exciting season where the city was juiced, everybody was fully bought in. If you could bring those guys back, 100% bring those guys back. This season, you're in a situation where it's I'd like some of these guys back, but they got to take a pay cut. They're going to take a roster spot drop. They're going to take this. They're going to take that. And you can't expect all these players to agree with that, knowing that they can go get money somewhere else. So it's almost one where what's more important to you this season, retaining those pieces that you already didn't really care for, or going full out and just restarting, gutting it, and then allowing the coaching staff to go out and spend their money. And now you're taking the risk that they have to reassess. They have to fully reassess, which that's the risk. But I'm almost on the side of this is one of those outlier seasons that even though I spoke on retention earlier, retention might not be the best thing for this basketball team.
There's a difference between making changes and just clearing out the whole house.
Yes.
And I think that both extremes are not the right way. I think not making changes is a mistake, but I think that changing everything is also a mistake. Because if it's that bad, what does that tell you about what we're going into year 3. There's a lot of pressure on year 3. Like, let's go ahead and establish this now. There's pressure on year 3. There's no, we made it to the tournament and won another tournament game, and then we lost in the round of 32 again. That's not success in year 3. I don't care how much you have to overcome in this offseason because it's an indication of how roster construction has gone. Like, I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to see what he does this offseason and what he does in year 3. But I'm not going to sit here and give any excuses. I'm not going to sit here and allow things to be twisted in the way that, he had to replace a lot, so we need to give him some patience there. No. That was his choice. He chose to not go out there and bring any high school recruits in. He chose to only bring in, one? Well, I mean, if you consider Muhammad Kamara a high school recruit.
One freshman two freshmen in 3 recruiting cycles. First one, Kenai Roots was a late addition. Second one, Michael was it. Third one, you don't have any. I don't know, man.
It's not good.
I mean, I think that he could put together a very, very good team next year. I think look, we had the money. Louisville's got the money. It's not. I don't think it's top 5 money, but
I think that
Louisville's got enough money to compete. You just have to be on point with your scouting.
Go ahead, Roman.
No, it's an MU point. It doesn't matter.
Look. I think us 3 could put together a good roster coming into next season with the money that Louisville has. I don't not believe in Pat Kelsey and his ability to go out there and assess talent and go on the team. I think that you can look across college basketball and even some of the more casual fans could say, look, you go out and spend money on that type of guy. You go spend money on that type of guy, and you could have a scout go out and help you. It's the point of how many times are we going to kind of take risks that are unnecessary risks where you get a guy from a league that you thought was a more physical league, bring him over here, and he's not up to speed, but you also don't really give him a
backup. So it comes down to scouting, right? I mean, scouting and roster construction, you can't you can't create the redundancy at the 2 guard like you did this year and not invest enough at your 5, because even after Sinan Defru, you had Ali Khalifa, who you know was a perimeter guy, Evangelos Zugras, a 6'8", high-effort guy, high-motor guy. That was your 5 position. Well, you did have James Scott in the mix, and he entered the portal at the very end. But you also had the opportunity to go out and get another center. You did not. So
that's you brought this up
I have an issue with the way that the roster has been constructed. I have an issue about how the roster is going into year 3. Now, you could bring some guys back, and if you do, I think that, again, my concerns aren't that large, but it's all about adapting. We mentioned it. It's all about adapting.
You brought this up earlier, and my big issue with the system that we're running under Pat Kelsey right now is that in both seasons, he does not scout and recruit and bring players in for a backup plan. There is one system in play. The only reason in your first season, you get all the injury crisis, right? So you don't even really have room for a backup plan. Your backup plan is Chucky Hepburn doesn't get hurt. You're in plan C the whole season. Season 2, like you said, you shoot threes. If you miss them, you shoot more. You don't have a backup plan. You don't have a get into the rim. You don't have a big guy to go to down low. Your backup plan is like hopefully Ollie could make 2 or 3. And yes, your guards create a little bit more for other people, but your backup.
But they can't shoot floaters or mid range.
They can't. They're not allowed. It's almost a cardinal sin. No pun intended. But you set up so much pressure on Michael Brown and Sinan Defru that when both of those players didn't work out, you saw how weak this team is. You don't have anywhere to pivot. So it's one where, we're going to sit here and say, you just go out and get a second point guard. You just go out and get a second big man. The issues are lying so much deeper in not only do you need
injuries
help,
happen.
They happen. You need help at those positions because injuries happen. But at the same time, the guys that are getting, like those that are the injuries are happening to, your plan A guys are not good enough. So you need to figure that out as well. I'm not going to, now
Mike getting guys who can play. And
Mike Hell's the outlier.
Spots each year that are just 2 empty spots where you still paid money. Can't have that.
Let's head to break. When we come back, we got to rave about Jeff Brom and Vince Morrow a little bit. Jide Brown is a Cardinal. Don't let anybody tell you different. This is a huge deal for the local program. More on that when we come back here on the final segment of Mondays with Dalton Pence.
Don't panic, just ask.
ASI's AI assistant gives fast answers. Type it, tap it, just ask.
Type it, tap it, no matter the task, just ask. At asiplumbing.com.
This season, treat yourself to great food and stunning views at Recipe, the restaurant at Christmas Lake Golf Course. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Recipe is the perfect place to gather with family and friends. Enjoy delicious meals, a cozy atmosphere, and a menu that will keep you coming back for more. And the best part, you don't have to be a golfer to dine with us. Visit Recipe today, where great food meets great company. Christmas Lake Golf Course, open to the public.
It's March. Let's huddle up. Cater with Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Flame grilled chicken, fresh salsas made daily, hand-mashed guacamole, and the star of the season, our new mango salsa. Sweet mango salsa with a hint of lime. Pile it high on tacos, bowls, or burritos. It's a slam dunk of flavor. Hosting a watch party? Score big with quesadilla trays, our Three Amigos dips, or the melty, crave-worthy queso fundido. Bring championship flavor to the table at Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Fresh ingredients, bold flavor, 3 locations. Visit salsaritas.com.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
At Valley View Golf Club, the game just keeps getting better. Over the last couple of seasons, Valley View has continued to add new improvements for members and guests. Enjoy the Tap-Ins dining room, now featuring 2 indoor golf simulators for year-round play. Every golf cart now includes a new GPS system to enhance your experience on the course. And to preserve the course's strategy and beauty, Valley View has planted over 120 trees in recent seasons. Valley View is also expanding its golf tournament program. Membership continues to grow, and a waiting list begins May 1st. So join today and experience everything happening at Valley View Golf Club.
Hello, I'm Todd Metter, President and founder of TKM Financial Services. I've been blessed to serve clients in the financial services industry since 1993, and I've learned it's never too little, never too late to take control of your finances and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Listen to my live call-in show on Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on WGTK 970. A Nickel and a Plan Finance show is real talk about all things money, done with a musical twist. Tune in and even join in as we talk markets, investment strategies, financial planning, risk management, how the financial services industry really works, and more. Listen to replays of A Nickel and a Plan Finance show on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on Big X Sports 96.1 FM and 1450 AM. For more information about the services TKM offers, online at tkmfsllc.com or 450-PLAN, that's 450-7526. TKM Financial Services, comprehensive in approach, client first, in nature.
Just the Cats with Michael Bennett.
Mark Pope, he's had more double-digit losses, which has been an embarrassment, but I'll keep Mark Pope one more year more than I would want John Calipari to come back. I don't care if Cal ever comes back or the opportunity presents itself. I would never want Cal to come back to Kentucky. I mean, that ship has sailed as far as I'm concerned.
Weekday mornings at 8, followed by Spears on Sports at 10 on the Big X Sports Radio.
Meet Tommy, ASI Plumbing's talking toilet.
Got a plumbing problem? Just ask.
Type it, tap it, just ask at asiplumbing.com.
Type it, tap it, no matter the task, just ask at asiplumbing.com.
.644 here on this final episode of Mondays with Dalton Pence for the month of March. When we come back, it will be April, and honestly, it'll be one day before the portal officially starts. It'll be National Championship Monday. Thanks for tuning in. We're taking you up till about 6:59 tonight. Dalton Pence, Roman Kelly, and Matt Childress manning the microphones, keeping them hot until the night shift. Is anybody after this at all?
No.
You take Jody off on Mondays, so no.
I take what?
Jody Demling off.
I take him off on Mondays.
Yeah, I'd be like, if you weren't on, Cardinal Insider would be on during your show, but nothing happens after 7.
Is Cardinal Insider an everyday show?
Yes.
Pretty sure.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Which we just simulcast it. So.
Oh, okay. I got you. You want to talk some football?
Let's talk some football.
We've been getting aggravated with basketball here and there. Let's talk. Let's end the show on a good note. 502-414-1450. The Cardinals get a victory over their rivals in the offseason, winning the Jahide Brown sweepstakes. Pretty solid commitment for the Cardinals. Now, don't forget, this is a player that Louisville has been prioritizing for multiple years now. Last year, he was making those trips down to Alabama, to Auburn, to Ole Miss. Committed to Indiana in January. And could you really blame him? I mean, they're in the middle of a national championship run. They're the talk of the country. Everyone wants to play for Curt Cignetti. Well, he decommits in mid-March, March 12th to be exact. And the growing assumption right after his decommitment was, watch out for Louisville. Well, Kentucky fans came out and said, oh, hold on now. He's visiting here. Will Stein is prioritizing him. That was probably the case. Tweets out on Sunday night that he's making a commitment on Monday. It is your Louisville Cardinals that he's chosen to join. Now, Louisville has to keep his commitment, right? I mean, just because you commit doesn't mean you're going to stay committed. We're in an era now where decommitments are more frequent now than they ever have been in recruiting history, but a pretty solid recruiting win over your rival.
The dog is barking more than Georgia Bulldog fans right now.
The Vince Morrow effect. I was told he wasn't going to have an effect on this program.
I was told that he was going to be a hindrance to the program. It was just going to be shenanigans.
What has that led to? A really good portal class. 41-0 in football.
One of the best recruiting classes in 2027.
At the moment, yeah. And 3 of the top 5 recruits in the 2027 class in-state are committed to Louisville, according to On3/Rivals.
How it should be.
You've got Allen Evans, who's from Trinity, who's the top, honestly, 24/7 has him as a top 100 player. You've got, of course, Jahide Brown, and you've also got Jordan Haskins, the safety from Lexington, from Bryan Station, his dad played at Louisville.
Fortunately, the only one you missed out on was Karsten Bush, which you had at one point.
Well, he was in the 2026 class.
Yeah.
Now, you did miss on LaRon Westmoreland, who the safety from J-Town, who ended up going to Kentucky. You did miss on him.
He clearly didn't know what was good for him.
It's okay to admit that you missed on him. Kentucky won that recruitment. Good for them. If we're going to call them out for losing recruitments, we do have to give them credit when they did beat us out on one. But the top 2 players in the city of Louisville are Cardinals. In the Scott Satterfield era, that was unheard of.
That's how it should be.
It is exactly how it should be. Jahide Brown, honestly, being 5'10", 175 pounds, if he's 2 to 3 inches taller, I think he's a top 150 player. If he's from the state of Florida and not from Kentucky, putting up 98 catches for 1,500 yards and 24 touchdowns and being a first-team all-state selection,
great point.
He's probably a top 150 player. He reminds me of 2 former state of Kentucky standouts. Rondell Moore, God rest his soul. A player that every time he touched the football, you had valid reason to believe he was taking it to the crib. And Wan'Dale Robinson, who went to, I think, Western Hills in Frankfort, went to Nebraska for a year, then transferred to Kentucky, played for Stoops and Vince Morrow. He's one of those types of players. He's a get that guy the ball out in space and let him cook. Let him
Put
cook.
you on your butt.
I also think he's underrated in terms of tracking the football and being able to high point the football and win those 50-50 battles. But
He can jump for a small
he's a guy that you can give a large diet or a large. He's a guy that can have a large diet of high volume targets and succeed. And he's got that speed. So this is a huge deal. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
Gadget threat, deep ball threat. Got all the
You need those. You need those types of playmakers on your team. That's exactly why you went out and you got a Colin Lacey. Now that might not necessarily have been as fruitful as you thought because year one he was hurt. Year two, Miller Moss was the quarterback. But this is the type.
When it worked with Colin, it worked well.
This is the type of athlete that you need on your team.
Because he's going to be doing the kickoff returns.
I think there's a possibility. I mean, I think that there is a very real possibility that he could be a special teams guy.
It just feels good to be back in the situation where not only is your coaching staff good enough and your recruiting good enough, but your program is just good enough to really lock down the in-state talent that you've been wanting. Especially in this era where I feel like not just football but basketball and baseball's always had great in-state talent, but it's only getting better. So when you were playing in an era where it wasn't as good as it is now and you weren't locking it down, it's good to be back in that situation where these big names like Jahad Brown, I mean, they're not just putting, Louisville in a top 3 just because it's the city he's from, a.k.a. Damian Harris, but it's somebody who's actually going to your university.
I feel like this is the first skill position player we've had in a spot like this, Dalton and Matt. Like local, Louisville, top talent, you expect them to come in and be kind of a, not immediate difference maker, but to make a difference earlier in their career than they would later on. I don't know the last time it's been in a wide receiver spot.
I just saw a tweet. Well, let's pause that for a moment because, I mean, look, it's a huge deal, right? Basketball-wise, remember the name T.J. Robinson?
Yes.
Yeah.
That Kenny Payne commit that we never got any clarity on?
Yeah.
He's in the portal now. Do you know where he ended up? I'm going to give you a couple guesses. Think mid-major that has made a second weekend tournament run in the past 5 seasons.
FAU?
Furman?
I'll give you all one more guess each because that's not right.
St. Peter's.
Rome?
Richmond?
St. Peter's.
Hey!
9.6 points a game, 2.7 assists. He's going to the transfer portal.
Bring him back. He's already beat Kentucky. He knows how to win.
He wasn't on that
I know.
team.
I'm just making a joke.
That's a blast from the past. I was like, T.J. Robinson, why does that name sound familiar? It's like, oh, that was the Kenny Payne commitment that we never heard about.
Got a couple of those.
Who was the G League guy? Was it Overtime Elite? Who was the Overtime Elite guy that committed and then decommitted? You know what I'm talking about? In the Kenny Payne era.
No, I don't remember.
I remember this. I can't think of
502-414-1450 to let us know on the Gameday Mens Health text line. I need to look this up. Who was it?
I can't think of his name.
I have no idea.
Who is that? You know who I'm talking about, though, Rome. Overtime Elite commit. Who is that? I want to say it was 2023 maybe? Who is that?
Trenton Flowers was the 2023.
No, it
You're not
wasn't,
thinking of him.
It wasn't Trent Flowers.
Dennis Evans, Caleb Glenn was on the team.
He ended up decommitting.
Curtis Williams Jr., Tyler Johnson. I have no idea.
Was he actually was the guy committed? I thought he was committed.
I have no clue.
It wasn't T.J. Robinson, was it? Like, that's not who I'm thinking of, is it? Why do I feel like I'm losing my mind here?
I can't.
Is it T.J. Robinson is the thing?
Did the player you're talking about ever officially commit?
I thought he did.
Or was it like I think it was a verbal you're thinking of.
Well, verbal is a commitment.
Yeah, you're right. That is.
But I don't think it's T.J. Robinson. Like, I think it's somebody else that it was a point guard that committed, I believe, and then decommitted. Who was it? I'm losing my mind.
I can't think of it. I mean, you're not thinking of Corin Davis.
But am I making sense here?
Yes.
Like, kind of who I'm thinking about.
I don't even know if I'd be able to find it because it's only going to list me players that were actually on the team.
I'm going to search up Louisville basketball decommitment. Maybe that.
It was T.J. Robinson.
Are you sure?
In October 2022.
Did he play in the Overtime Elite?
L. Ellis?
No, it wasn't L. Ellis. It might be T.J. Robinson. That might be who I'm thinking of.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Somebody played in Overtime Elite. And they were either committed or they...
I've pushed all that stuff out of my brain.
3-star point guard T.J. Robinson decommits from Louisville after firing Kenny Payne.
But that wasn't it, though. I don't think it was him.
There was so many weird things. Like, DJ Wagner was supposed to commit on his visit that he never officially went on.
My gosh, TJ.
Oh, that he did play. It was Tyler Johnson. Texter, shout out to the texter that just came in and said it. It was Tyler Johnson.
So you just mixed Tyler's background up with the Robinson.
Yeah.
TJ Robinson decommitted from a lot.
Because I was thinking
it was
OTE
okay.
Kid that didn't play for us.
So I was like, yes, he did play. Because remember, Tyler Johnson was a guy who came out of nowhere and committed. And I was saying Tyler Johnson, or I was saying it was similar to T.J. Robinson because people were hyping him up like he was the next best thing, like they did with Danilo Jovanovic.
Sheesh.
Anyways, I'm sorry we went off on a tangent there. I don't know why I was losing my mind, but yes, shout out to the texter who came in and clarified that it was Tyler Johnson.
I always forget he played on that OTE side with the Thompson twins.
Yes, he did. And did he play with Rob Dillingham or played against him for sure? But anyways, let's end it with some more football talk and kind of get back to that. I do think something that has to be taken into consideration is, remember when we had all those Jeff Brom extension talks over the winter, and we kept talking about how it wasn't the extension that was the most important part, it was the money that you got from it, like the NIL increase. I wonder, are you able to get a guy like Jahide Brown and bring in other top guys in the class and do what you're doing in the portal if you didn't get an increase? I think you have to credit that whole discussion of Jeff Brom's name being floated in every top job search as another reason as to why you're in the spot that you're in.
You know what an Indiana or an Ole Miss or a Kentucky was offering, so.
It also shows the commitment that Jeff Brom has to the university. That, we were all, like Dalton said, we're expecting an even On3 reported that an extension announcement was being talked about, and it was almost guaranteed, and we still haven't heard anything. He still hasn't gotten an extension. It was all.
That is weird. We still have not gotten an extension.
I'm guessing the point you can make is that there was no extension talks in general. It was just this is what our NIL was.
There was. There was extension talk.
That was never about what was important.
Yeah, it was more about the NIL.
Maybe it's because Brom understood that you need the NIL because the portal's opening up in early January, and then you can table extension talks until the spring and the summer.
And I think that you're seeing that a lot more across college football. We saw it with when Mario Cristobal was going through their playoff run. He made, I think it was the semifinal that he got interviewed after they won, and they were talking about, you just got blah, blah, blah added onto your contract. How you feel about that? He said, just throw it in my NIL. I don't need any more money. Just throw it in my NIL. That's all. I feel like that's the thing, especially with football. You need such a large roster. You also need a lot more money, and it's also the money maker in the United States of America when you're coming to sports. So it doesn't surprise me that those talks are tabled for importance of NIL.
I agree. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back on April 6th. April 6th, next Monday. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Go Cards.